Hello again, everybody. Along with Don Sutton, Skip Carey, welcoming you to another day of Atlanta Braves baseball. Rubber game of the Yankee series from Yankee Stadium. Two good ball games in this series. Each team has won one. Two good teams in action. And the pitchers, Don, have really dominated the hitters, haven't they?
I think that's pretty much what we expected coming in here. We got out of the Braves what we expected out of Glavine. We got it out of Nagel. Maybe the surprise of the whole series, the good job that Mendoza did. He came into this ball game with an earned run average of 5. And then Kenny Rogers coming back from the Isle of Elba to give him 4 shutout innings. And then I expect more today, too. A good pitching matchup with Dwight Gooden and Greg Maddux, and most people think Greg Maddux is coming off of what may have been his best outing of the year control-wise. Inside strikeout, outside strikeouts, up, down on the corner, mixing all of his pitches. Maddux, the best ratio of strikes to balls that we've seen, so should continue. If you go by what has just happened, it should continue to be a good pitched ball game.
We're in the Bronx, right across from the Isle of Manhattan, and we'll be back with the starting lineups, play-by-play story, right after this.
At Yankee Stadium, we're still a few minutes away from Game 3 of the series. The meeting's being held at home plate with the umpires. That's an important picture right there. Bernie Williams, you got a shot of stretching in right field. He has been activated today. He is not in the starting lineup. He is available for pinch hitting duties. That is very important to the Yankees in their scheme of things as they try to catch Baltimore. Scott Pose, the outfielder, has been sent down. The Yankees have taken the field. And here at Yankee Stadium, they do it a little bit differently. I know most of the times when you watch our telecast, you don't see the national anthem because it is done usually when we're in commercial break. But at Yankee Stadium, once the Yankees take the field, the umpires line up at home plate, and then the national anthem is played immediately thereafter. Strength Tylenol starting lineups. Bobby Cox has made this lineup card out for today's ball game. Jeff Blauser at short to lead it off. Michael Tucker again in right field will bat in the 2 spot. It's Chipper Jones at third, hitting third. Leadoff hitter Fred McGriff. Ryan Klesko in left field to follow McGriff. Andrew Jones, he has played a whale of a defense here in Yankee Stadium. He'll hit 6th, play center field. DHing again today, it's Keith Lockhart. Eddie Perez will catch, he'll bat in the 8th spot. And the 9th place hitter will be the second baseman, Mark Lemke. The Yankees defense has Whitten in left, Curtis in center, and O'Neill in right, the strongest arm of the 3, Whitten in left field. The infield, Charlie Hayes on the pine today. It'll be Wade Boggs at third. Jeter, Kelly at second, and Martinez complete the infield. Joe Girardi behind the plate. And on the mound making his 5th start, there's a look at Dwight Gooden. He's 3-0. He is averaging a little bit better than 5 innings a start. A good earned run average. The league hitting .235 against him. 9 runs allowed, 8 of them earned, 4 home runs allowed, and only 7 walks in 23 innings. Scouting report we get on Dwight Gooden is that he's not throwing quite as hard as he did in spring training, but it's a step-by-step process, and he is right back along the way to being there. His control has been good. His change of speeds. Here's what Dwight Gooden has done throughout his career. A good one-loss percentage, a good earned run average, and averaging almost a strikeout an inning for his career. Umpiring crew for Game 3. Here's how they'll line them up. That's John Hirschbeck calling the balls and strikes. Crew chief Ted Hendry down at first. Jim Joyce will be at second, and Ed Hickox will be over at third. After 2 days of flawless weather here in New York, temperature in the high 70s and low 80s, not a cloud in the sky, dry, crisp weather. A threat of rain. There is a huge storm off in western part of New York that's supposed to slide through this area sometime between right now and this time tomorrow, and everybody on the Braves traveling crew hoping that it is this time tomorrow. No offense to the Yankee games that might be here. So hopefully, Skip, we can get this one in and move on to wrapping up the 4 in Montreal before the All-Star break.
Right you are, Don Sutton, and hello again, everybody. Jeff Blauser will lead it off. Blaus hitting .345, 11 homers, 40 runs driven in. He's 3 out of 14 in his career against Doc Gooden. A strike, and we're underway. 3 minutes late, but we're underway. 1-1 the count. Gooden, a lot of battles in his career. He's battled police. He's battled alcohol. He's battled drugs. He's battled arm problems. And here he is pitching effectively after all of that. Just missed. 2 balls and a strike.
Still a pretty impressive career, and just you have to go, what if? What if he hadn't had all those battles?
Pretty good fastball there. It's 2-2. He's the uncle of Gary Sheffield, the fine right fielder of the Florida Marlins, who has issued an apology for accusing the umpires of whatever he
Finding
accused.
the strike
Yeah.
zone on him.
I guess guys think they can say or do just about anything, and if they say I'm sorry later, it doesn't matter. We must be responsible for our actions. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tapped foul. George Steinbrenner, the back page of the New York Daily News today. Full page picture of Steinbrenner. The second sports page of the New York Post, picture of George Steinbrenner. Monday night here, it was a fiasco after the game. They had too many cars parked in the media players lot. Ground ball, foul past third again, still 3-2. And George became very angry about it. He got here about 2 o'clock yesterday, got a folding chair, sat out there, and he personally checked the people coming in. Walked around the stadium, got some ambulances which were illegally parked, moved to a better location. Got all this publicity, fired a few people who really aren't fired. 3-2 pitch. He walked him, and a good start for Atlanta. They'll be back at work in a couple of days. And he got himself all this publicity, and that's what everybody's talking about. But the other thing he did was, last night you walked out of those lots, you could get in and out very easily. What he actually did was do a good job and straighten out a mess.
Yeah, traffic was flowing nicely under the Major Deegan Expressway.
So a runner is at first and nobody out. Hands-on ownership.
The boss may have missed his calling.
Yeah. I think there's more money in it his way. The stretch, the pitch to Michael Tucker, didn't mean to. A little dribbler to third. They go to second. He is out. Throw to first is late. Blauser put a little pressure on Pat Kelly down there. Michael Tucker upset. He didn't want to swing at that ball, but he hits into a fielder's choice, and there's 1 away in the first. Yeah, as much as 3 or 4 inches of rain are expected in some sections of New York, but the showers are supposed to be scattered, so it's like a crapshoot. You just hope you get lucky. Runner at first, 1 out for Chipper Jones, hitting .299, 13 homers, 62 RBIs. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Don't forget about the official magazine of the Atlanta Braves, Chop Top. Easy for me to say, Chop Talk. 1-800-700-CHOP, the number. One ball, no strikes. Runner at first, 1 out. Throw to first. Michael is back. Chipper has never faced Gooden.
And while you're reminding people of things, be sure and tune in to Headline Sports tonight to find out the National League All-Star team. Bobby Cox will be naming that at 6 o'clock tonight. Find out how many of your favorite Braves and other favorite players have made it. Might be some surprises.
I was talking to Joe Torre in his office before the game, and he said, how does Bobby do this every year? He's going crazy trying. You try to be fair, and you can't be. Somebody gets gypped. The 2-0 pitch. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
Well, what makes it unfair to the manager is that in the rules, to try to make it fair, you have to name a player from every ball club, and because you have to name somebody maybe with lesser credentials, somebody because he is a 3rd or 4th or 5th player off of a ball club is going to get left out.
I've never understood that philosophy. If your ball club's so lousy you don't have a player that deserves it, it should be public knowledge. Tucker is picked off. Martinez runs him down, and Jeter tags him out. So that leadoff walk hasn't accomplished a whole lot, has it?
Good job by Dwight Gooden. He held it just a little bit longer, and then the quick feet, the turn. Run him till you can get it in the hands of somebody with some speed. Jeter just kind of toys with him. Remember, Jeter ran down Lockhart from behind last night. He has good speed.
Yeah, we're not having a very good series as far as base running is concerned. So the count on Chipper still 2-1. Ground ball, but right at Kelly. He boots it, still has time, and the inning is over. A lot of action, but no hits, no runs, no errors, nobody left. Bottom of the first, no score.
Here's a Yankee batting order. Jeter, Girardi, and O'Neill, the first three, the heart of the order. Fielder, Martinez, and Boggs. And the final three, Mark Whitten, Chad Curtis, and Pat Kelly. Defensively, Klesko, Jones, and Tucker. That's A. Jones. C. Jones, Blauser, Lemke, and McGriff from third to first. Perez behind the plate. And making start number 18, a 10-3 record. An earned run average of 255. When he allows 3 or less, he is absolutely perfect. The Braves win everything. If you get more than 4 off Maddox, it's a surprise, and generally the Braves don't do well.
Derek Jeter leads it off. By the way, you want to know how to make cornbread tamale pie?
I do, and it's good.
Of course you do. Don Sutton's wife Mary makes that, and in just a moment I'll tell you more about it. Maddox to Jeter, started to swing one around. It's 0-1. It's that recipe and many, many more in the Braves' Wives From Home Plate to Home Cooking Cookbook. $15 plus shipping and handling. 0-2. Front office personnel, coaches, players all have recipes in there, or their wives or girlfriends do. Books may be purchased, not wives and girlfriends, wives, or may be purchased at the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center, North Point Mall, Turner Field. Strike 3 called. Jeter's out of there, and he argues about it. 1 out.
This is right where Maddox left off. Inside check swing, outside corner, started off the plate, cut it right back over. Nobody does it in the National League better than Eddie Perez. Look at that. That's smooth.
Joe Girardi is the batter. If you can't get to any of those locations, call 1-800-433-BRAVES. Right now, anytime, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Proceeds go to the Georgia Center for Children. The pitch is a strike. That's all he's thrown so far. Jeff Blauser has his famous reheated pizza recipe probably in there again. Ground ball to second. That'll be easy. Funny hop, but Lemmer has it. 2 down. And Paul O'Neill will hit. O'Neill has batted a lot against Maddox and hasn't had much luck. He's 7 out of 37. Joe's wife Kathy has Easter marinated leg of lamb, baked spinach with cheese. I think that's all one thing. Elaine Van Weeren hot fudge sundae cake, and Paula Carey Christmas pumpkin pie and fresh fruit pie. Two out here. It's the longest promo in the history of baseball.
That just about sums up everything you could possibly promo in our half of the game, doesn't it?
Oh, no, we haven't even started. Are you kidding? 1 ball, no strikes. Downstairs, it's 2-0. We miss out on the Budweiser game summary today, but Pete and Joe will have it for you. We'll have Aflac, I bet. Fly ball foul to left. 2-1. 2 out, nobody aboard. Cecil Fielder is on deck.
I understand we have a large group of fans from Atlanta up today, hosted by our friends over at WSB, our radio affiliate.
The 2-1 on the corner, 2-2. Yeah, Scott Slade, who does such a great job on the morning show, and Steve Getty from the Braves Network sports staff are here. Flew up this morning, flying back tonight. The 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Same spot, but it's called ball 3. 3-2 the count. They play O'Neill just slightly to pull. 318 down the left field line here. 314 down the right field line. Ground ball. Lemke has another chance. What a play he made last night, by the way. And the inning is over. 1-2-3, nothing doing. An inning has gone by. We're scoreless in Yankee Stadium.
Authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club, intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, rebroadcast of the pictures or descriptions without the express written permission of the Atlanta League Baseball Club is prohibited. Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't duplicate it.
I won't. 0-1 the count to Fred McGriff, leading off the second inning. Gooden misses outside. It's 1-1. On the outside corner, 1-2. McGriff didn't like that call. John Hirschbeck's had trouble making anybody happy so far today, which probably means he's doing a good job. The 1-2 pitch. That's outside. Ooh, says the crowd. It was a foot outside, and it's 2-2.
Gooden still gets good leverage and good backspin on his fastball. A little lively hop right at the end of it.
On the corner at Deniz. McGriff can't believe it. 1 out. Here's Klesko.
Pitch that was called a ball might have been a better pitch than this one. This one has a little bit of a tail on it. Girardi gets some help by turning the catcher's mitt inside. He didn't push away to catch it. He caught it with his hand coming in toward the strike zone. It's always a help to the pitcher if you catch it toward the strike zone.
Ryan Klesko's 2-run homer, a big play in the game last night. There's a strike. Gooden really living on that outside corner, but that's fine with Greg Maddux. If that strike zone is wide, he'll take that. It hit him, and he's at first with 1 out. He's battling a little hamstring pull already. That didn't help the situation. Runner at first, 1 out.
The Yankees are just following a scouting report that we've seen a lot of clubs use. They want to come in above the belt. Gooden held on to it a little bit too long, got him on the right thigh. A glancing blow.
Andrew Jones, the batter. Fastball high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. No score, second inning. Ominous clouds gathering around the ballpark.
Nice word.
Swung and missed a breaking ball. The count evens at a ball and a strike.
Gooden is pitching the type ball game early that you used to see former Yankee great Catfish Hunter pitch. Stay away with the fastball and complement it by coming in occasionally. If it's a right-hander, away with the fastball, back it up with a slider.
A ball and a strike. Ground ball, foul past third. One and two, the count to Andrew Jones. Keith Lockhart waits on deck. Fastball. Second strikeout for Gooden, both in this inning, and Keith Lockhart the batter. You know, you can't stand still in baseball. These are the guys who are no longer with this team that were a big part of their success last year. And for us, Jim Leyritz.
Yeah, 3 of the 5. Jimmy Key had a great year. Leyritz is the one who almost single-handedly beat the Braves, and John Wetland, arguably the best closer in baseball last year.
Fastball outside to Lockhart. 1 ball, no strikes.
And then I think to add insult to injury, one of the things that happened is Key goes to one of your #1 rivals down in Baltimore. Wetland now with Texas, and Leyritz with the Anaheim Angels.
Key's got a little hamstring problem, we understand. May have to miss a start or two. Pitch fouled away. 1-1 the count.
Good news for the Yankees and Yankee fans. Apparently Andy Pettitte may not have to miss a start. His calf, the left one that got hit with a line drive off the bat of Javi Lopez, is apparently responding well to treatment.
Yeah, he was out throwing before the game. The 1-1 right in there. 1-2. Lockhart 240 with 3 homers, 19 RBI. So far in day games, by the way, Greg Maddux is 5-0. Maybe that will augur well for us. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called over the inside corner. Boy, he's got a big strike zone. Gooden strikes out the side. No hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second in a scoreless game. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. Cecil Fielder leads it off, and Greg Maddux goes to work. And there's a strike, and it's 0-1. Fielder has become the target of some boo birds here in New York. His average is down to 260. 9 homers, 49 RBIs. He's a designated hitter, despite the name. Ground ball to short. Blauser knows he has an eternity and throws to first. 1 out. And the aforementioned boo birds are hurt already. They won't be booing this guy. Here's Tino Martinez.
And Maddux is off to the kind of start we're used to seeing out of him when he's got a good one going. 3 ground ball outs to the middle of the infield and a strikeout.
Martinez at 307. No homers in this series, no RBIs. He still has 28 of the one and 76 of the other. The pitch. Strike at the knees. It's 0-1. Tomorrow night in Montreal, John Smoltz against Jim Bullinger. Right in there again, 0-2. Friday night, Chris Brock against Carlos Perez. Saturday, what a matchup. Tom Glavine and Pablo Martinez. And Sunday, Denny Nagel against Jeff Duden. We'll have them all for you. On 3 pitches, he thought that was low. He just shakes his head as he walks away. Second strikeout for Maddux. If this strike zone continues, we're going to zip right through this.
I don't think any argument on this one, though. Movement right back over the inside corner. And again, the limited movement by Eddie Perez, framing that strike and just settling it in right in the middle of the chest protector is always going to help Maddux or whoever he's catching and give the umpire a longer look.
Wade Boggs, the batter, first time we've seen him in the series. Check, swing, strike, 0-1. 2 out, nobody aboard.
If you hold a catcher's mitt still, you can extend the strike zone almost the width of the catcher's mitt by having the mitt itself over the strike zone. And then you're catching it on the heel or catching it up in the web. So you can, the umpire will see catcher's mitt over the edge of the strike zone, but the ball might be a good 4 inches out there.
1-2, the count to Boggs. Two out here, nobody aboard in the second inning. Line, short hop. Blauser bobbles, recovers, and throws him out. And the inning is over. Jeff stayed with that ball nicely. Maddux has set down 6 men in a row, and at the end of 2, no score.
Take a look at our Hardy's leaderboard, our category today. Most seasons hitting 300 or better. Ty Cobb at the top of the heap, but that man right there has put together 14 of them, which puts him in some pretty good company with Babe Ruth and Rod Carew.
Eddie Perez leads off the third inning. Perez, Lemke, and Blauser will hit. And Dwight Gooden goes to work. He's been tough, and he deals a strike. 0-1. No score, third inning. Braves home a week from tomorrow against the Mets. The pitch swung and missed. 0-2. The crowd not as big as they had expected here. Maybe the weather has something to do with that. It's about the same as the last two, around 39,000.
We heard talk of a possible sellout today. This Wednesday game, the Yankees do it a lot, and their attendance is better at it than any of the others.
On 3 pitches, Perez is out of there. 4 strikeouts for Gooden. 3 of them looking.
It is a pitcher's day. Get 2 strikes and throw it in the neighborhood.
That's nowhere near the strike zone, is it?
Near.
Nearer than the Isle of Elba, but.
Or the Isle of Manhattan, as a matter of fact.
No, it's about the same as. Lemke, who was last night's defensive hero, takes a strike. 0-1.
See, if you know that, you walk up there and you
That's
expand your strike zone. It's the same for everybody. Expand it a little bit and put the bat on it.
It's wide for everybody. Oh, 2.
And if you're the catcher, if you're Eddie Perez or you're Joe Girardi, well, you're a dummy if you set down the middle of the plate. You got to move on that outside corner or inside corner. And when you move yourself to split the outside corner and catch it outside out or inside in.
That was a foot outside and the crowd roars. They have great fans. I mean, they got a lot of yo-yos that jump on the field. Some dressed, some not.
And unfortunately, they're the ones that get too much of the attention.
They've got great, knowledgeable fans, enthusiastic fans. Ground ball to first. Martinez will take it himself and will win the race. 2 down. And Jeff Blauser, the batter, he walked his first time. Jeff at 345 on the year. He's a cinch to be in the All-Star game and probably the starting shortstop. I would guess that Chipper made it, and Javi made it, and Blauser made it, and Maddox made it, and Nagel made it.
Maybe Tom Glavine.
And Glavine. That would probably be. And Lofton, of course, but I don't know that he'll be able to play. The 1-0. Swung and lined down the right field line. Trouble if it's fair. It is a fair ball into the corner. Blauser on his way to second. O'Neill gets it in. It's a stand-up double as Blauser continues his good work.
And Jeff Blauser walked up there knowing that there had been an expanded strike zone, and he didn't wait for one down the middle. That's the same pitch that they've been getting rung up on, but instead of trying to pull it, Jeff just reached out and slapped it down the right field line. Take the strike zone that's given to you and hit accordingly, and he did.
And in a way, it's good for baseball because it makes the hitters more aggressive, and the game moves along at a good pace. And as Blauser just proved, you can still hit the ball. It's not that bad.
That's a Tony Gwynn philosophy. Have an idea of what's going to be coming at you, the umpire and the pitcher, and you hit accordingly. Strike zone's not the same every day.
He keeps a book of the pitchers and of the umpires. That's outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Joe Simpson did an interview on radio earlier with Tony, and he said before a Braves series, he always has the batting practice pitcher throw the ball a couple of inches off the plate out, off the plate in, because that's how the Braves operate, right on the corners. And he was saying it in a complimentary fashion, not complaining about anything. 1-1 the count. Which is one of the reasons that he wins batting title after batting title. He knows what's going on.
Well, you got a pretty good advantage as a hitter. Most of them are swinging bats that are 35 inches long over a strike zone that's 17 inches.
That should cover it.
8.5 on either side to play with, according to my math.
Which is probably fairly close. 1-1 the count.
It's in the neighborhood.
The 1-1. Upstairs, 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner in scoring position, but 2 are out here in the third.
That may have been a purpose pitch because that's the first one he's thrown above the belt.
Two balls and a strike. You a Jazz fan?
Utah Jazz?
No.
Oh, the music?
Music.
Dixieland or progressive?
Progressive.
I don't know anything about it. Why?
Phil Sivens tells me there's a big jazz festival in Montreal, and I was wondering if you were.
Ew, it'll be a packed outhouse, won't it?
Yeah, I think it is outside. 3-1 the count. He walked him, and Chipper Jones has a chance to do some damage here with 2 out. Second walk of the game for Gooden. So he's in a little 2-out trouble. Chipper grounded to second on his initial trip to the plate.
Third baseman, Chipper Jones.
Mentioned the other night, good to see our old friend John Sterling doing the Yankees games on WABC and their network with Michael Kay. Miss old John, he's a good guy. Line drive left center. That's going to get down and fall. A run will score. Tucker races for third. Here comes the throw. He's in there easily. Chipper stays at first. And the Braves draw first blood. All this with 2 out. RBI number 63 for Chipper Jones.
And all this started because Jeff Blauser had a good at bat. Chipper Jones gets a hanging breaking ball. Little inside out swing. Good hustle by Curtis. And good hustle by Michael Tucker. Here we see him again taking the extra base when it isn't automatic.
And Fred McGriff has a chance to do further damage here. He got the first 2 easily, but nothing but trouble since.
What will be lost in this inning if the Braves win it is the at bat that Jeff Blauser had. He's the first guy today to adjust to the strike zone and get the inning started, get the run across because he adjusted and kept the inning alive.
Fred taps one foul down the first base line. McGriff now 6 out of 26 in his career against Dwight Gooden. Richmond won last night 5-4. Brad Woodall got the win. Scott Brow his 10th save. Damon Hollins and Robert Smith homered. Smith's having a pretty good year since coming back off the injured list.
I think Scott Brow is a pitcher claimed off the Toronto Blue Jays rosters on waivers at the end of the year. I bet you they'd like to have him back.
Greenville lost 7-3. Brian Harvey pitched an inning, walked 1, gave up no runs or hits. A ball and 2 strikes. Durham lost to Salem 11-5, and Macon beat Asheville 8-7. The 1-2 to McGriff. 2 on, 2 out. Outside, evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braves home a week from tomorrow. A 4-game series against the Mets. Then the Phillies in for 2. The Rockies in for 2. The Dodgers in for 4. The 2-2 pitch. Runners lead. Here it is. Swung, ground ball to short. That'll end the inning. Jeter flips it to Kelly, and the inning is over. But the Braves take the lead. A run on 2 hits. They leave 2, and at the end of 2.5, 1-0 Atlanta.
Look at our Office Depot scoreboard. Games in progress. Cincinnati over Milwaukee 3-1. Burnett is a homer for Milwaukee. The Mets and Detroit all even at the bottom of the second. Everything else taking place a little bit later on. That's on our Office Depot scoreboard.
Mark Whitten leads off the bottom of the third, and the pitch is outside. Whitten 3 out of 16 in his career against the Atlanta right-hander. Whitten, Curtis, and Kelly do here in the third. A strike from Maddox evens it up. The 1-1 pitch. Little looper. That's going to get in there for a hit. Whitten hit it off the trademark, but he dropped it into center, and the leadoff man is on for the Yanks in the third, and here comes Curtis.
Blauser expanded his strike zone to get the Braves started, and Whitten in a way did. That was a pitch that was in off the plate and sacrificed his favorite piece of timber to get that hit.
Curtis at 250, 5 homers and 13 runs driven in. Pat Kelly moves on deck. Runner going. Pitch swung. Ground ball to second. Funny hop. Lemke has it. Throws him out. They get the runner to second base. Curtis gave himself up to get that ball into play. And Kelly will be the hitter.
Greg Maddux always likes the off-fielder to stay at home in a hit-and-run situation. That time the Braves kept Lemke at home, and they ended up getting an out because of it. If Lemke is covering against the right-hander, then you're looking at first and third.
Pat Kelly out of Philadelphia and Westchester State College. Lives now down in Clearwater. And takes a strike. It's 0-1. He's been up and down with the Yankees since '91. Got him. Glavine picks off, Maddux picks off Whitten. 1-4 pickoff and 2 are out.
Timing play. Watch Lemke break. Maddux turns, throws with Lemke on the move. A perfect throw. Perfect timing. Maddux shortened that by wheeling, and that's a perfect throw. If he doesn't hit the bag with that throw, they don't get him.
So Kelly hits with 2 out, nobody on.
See, in a game like this where you're not going to get many runs off a guy like Maddux, you can't afford mistakes like that.
Right on the corner. That was his breaking ball. 1-2.
And if you're going bad, what usually happens is the next hitter bloops one somewhere for a base hit.
Just to make it look a little worse. High fly into center. Pretty well hit, but Andrews back there. He puts it away, and the inning is over. 1 hit, but no runs, no errors, none left. 3 innings have gone by, and the Braves lead 1-0.
Top of the 4th inning, time for our Aflac trivia question. A good one today. Which ex-Yankee catcher played for a total of 21 different managers in his career? Well, there's an obvious answer. But we'll wait, and it may be not the obvious answer.
You pretty well covered yourself there.
See, my guess would have been the obvious answer would have been Yogi Berra. But that's a oh no.
Well, let's see. Bill Dickey.
I don't think so.
Not Bill Dickey.
I would guess it was somebody that took over after the boss became boss.
Well, Thurman,
which narrows it down to 20 or 30 catchers.
Thurman Munson, probably not.
Did he ever play with the Braves? Ooh, I know.
Gets past Kelly into right field. It'll go for a hit. He was off stride, but he kept his hands back and served one into right.
Tricky hop. Didn't lay leather on it, and probably didn't have a chance to get in front of it.
Andrew Jones, a strikeout victim his first time, is the batter.
Give you a clue. There's a catcher and a PR guy with the same name.
Ah. And he is a former Brave. The pitch is outside.
That's a good one today.
I was talking to him before the game, as a matter of fact.
The PR guy or the catcher?
Both. The 1-0 to Andrew. Line right at Boggs out there. Throw to first. Took him a little while to unload that one. It was hit so hard, and Klesko was able to get back. Andrew hit it right on the screws, but out.
Well, he had to start breathing again. That ball got to him so quick. By the time he realized he had it, and by the way, Klesko might be off the bag. It was too late to do anything about it. This ball is smoked right at Wade Boggs, and now it's 1,001, 1,002. My heart's beating, and here goes the throw.
That's when he really had to catch.
Yeah.
Keith Lockhart, the batter. I was in Joe Torre's office before the game trying to visit with him because of the talk show. I didn't get to see him the first 2 days in. And I counted 21 different media people, not counting me, in that office. Little pop on the infield. That wouldn't be a home run in a phone booth. Boggs has it, 2 out. And Eddie Perez, the batter.
As quickly as that first liner got to him, I bet you he was ready for a little lazy one.
A little more relaxed on that one, I think. If he misses that one, it just hits him in the shoulder. Eddie Perez, a strikeout victim his first time. Big Braves fan Jason Solomon here from Orlando today wants to be remembered. Everybody in Hilton Head.
That's a lot of people to be remembered to.
Barry Solomon out of Hilton Head Hospital. Oh, and 1 the count. Started to go. No. Ted Hendry, the crew chief, with the call from first base. Gooden's 1-1 to Perez. Boy, he started to call that a strike, then thought better of it. The count goes to 2-1.
That's a great pitch. I'm surprised he didn't call it a strike. It's not going straight down. It's going down and away. So there's a pretty good chance that caught a little of the plate before it ended up in Girardi's mitt.
Up the chute. Who wants it? Derek Jeter puts it away, and the inning is over. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Atlanta.
A reminder, our Aflac trivia question: which ex-Yankee catcher played for a total of 21 different managers in his career? Rick Cerone, 18 years in the big leagues with the Yankees from 80 through 84, in 87, and in 90. 21 managers he played for, the most anybody has played for in this century.
I would have never guessed that one. I could have guessed all day.
Boy, that's a lot of different signs to have to learn. And
a lot of times shaking hands goodbye, too. Jeter leads off the bottom of the 4th, takes a pitch low. Rick Cerone caught for the Braves in 1985. There he
working
is.
with Ken Singleton on the Yankees telecast.
A jam job. Whoa, but Fred comes down on the base, 1 away. Maddox has allowed a hit, but he's faced the minimum. Witten singled, advanced to second on an infield out, and was picked off. Here's Joe Girardi. Girardi got maybe the biggest hit of the World Series, a triple against Maddox in Game 6 to set up an inning. He looks at a strike, 0-1. He grounded to second his first time in this game. 1 fly ball off Maddox so far. A ball and a strike.
Greg Maddux may be a candidate to start the All-Star game. He is not scheduled for another start before the end of the week, before the All-Star break. He would be the most rested of the pitchers.
2 balls and a strike. Denny Nagel almost certainly won't be able to pitch. He's scheduled to go on Sunday.
Right.
The 2-1 pitch. Little looper into right field. It's going to get down for a hit. Tucker looks at first, but Girardi had hustled down the line. He had no chance to get him. Second hit of the day, and Paul O'Neill, the batter.
Both the hits have been on almost identical pitches. Fastball in on the hands. Witten fought one off. And this time, Maddox wants it down and away, but it runs all the way across the plate, right on the fists of Joe Girardi.
Here's O'Neill. He grounded to second his first time. Cincinnati now 4-3 over Milwaukee. They're in the fifth. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. A Chipper Jones single has driven in the game's only run to this point. Line drive. Blauser, an amazing play. Out there, and the inning is over. What a job all the way around. 6-4-3. A brilliant play by Blauser and a great pivot by Lemke. The inning comes to a close. That is major league play there, folks. The end of 4, 1-0 Atlanta.
It's a good play 2 ways. Jeff Blauser, first of all, looks like he has no chance to get to this ball, but once he does get to it, watch Lemke at second. A lot of second basemen couldn't have turned that because they would have already committed to one way of doing it. But Lemke gets there, waits the throw, backs out after tagging the bag so that he opens up to throw to first and gets out of the way. Good play by Blauser, but maybe even a better one by Lemke at the bag at second.
Speaking of Mark, he leads things off. And foul tips one. It's 0-1. Dan Regan, our director today. Glenn Diamond, the coordinating producer of Braves baseball, is on hand to produce the game. The 0-1 pitch. A little high. 1-1 the count. Dan returns to Atlanta to rest up after the game, and Lanny Dale will fly into Montreal to do that portion of the series. Jeter to first, 1 out. Here's Jeff Blauser. He made a heck of a play on that ball. That'll make this week in baseball, I would think.
Numbers on good and pretty economical use of his pitches. Here he is in the 5th inning with right at 60.
Breaking ball low, 1 ball, no strikes. That play will also make SportsCenter, but somebody will have something cute or sarcastic to say about it. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner, it's 1-1. Braves have 3 hits, Yanks have 2. Another breaking ball, a ball and 2 strikes. Blauser has walked and doubled and scored the only run of the game. The 1-2 pitch. It's even now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Take our Delta charter to Montreal after the game. You haven't visited any farms, have you?
No.
Okay. High fly center field. Curtis back a few steps, but he puts it away for the 2nd out. And Michael Tucker, the batter.
But I had some vegetables for dinner last night. Does that count?
I don't think so.
Right fielder, Michael Tucker.
Tucker has hit into a forced play, and he has walked. He fouls it back. It's 0-1. Fan fumbles it and gets booed by his fellow fans who could have done no better. Dwight Gooden again ready. Up and in with a fastball. 1-1 the count.
A lot of pitches come close to Michael Tucker because he strides toward the plate and gets locked in. Doesn't allow him any bailout room.
Inside again. 2 balls and a strike. And again they come in on him. Three balls and a strike. American League continues to lead the National League in the interleague play situation. 2 nights ago, the National League won 1 more game. I think last night we broke even. The 3-1. Fouled back 3-2.
No surprise, I think that the American League has out-hit them because the DH usually accounts for that. The National League is not accustomed to having a 9th guy in there who can hit, but I'm a little surprised at the earned run average.
And that would be the thing that puzzled me. High pop left side may be playable. Long run for Witten over near the fence. Leaps in, cannot make the catch.
He leaped in and the ball came back. He really didn't have to jump. Kind of overplayed that one. Off of a left-hander's bat, that ball will head toward the stands, but as it starts down, the rotation caused it to drift back toward the field. And Witten, I think, thought he had to go a lot further after this than he really did. Watch the ball come back on him. He gets there, now he looks, jumps, and it'll be behind him.
Whoops.
Good idea, bad direction.
3-2 the count. So Tucker sort of gets a swing on the house here, though no error is charged. Just missed, down and in. Runner at first with 2 out for Jones. Walk number 3 for Dwight Gooden. He has also hit a batter. Chipper has grounded to second and singled home a run, driving in his 63rd run of the year. The left-hand hitter waits. Close.
Boy, he has a quick move.
I think he was a-going because it looked like his first move was in the other direction.
Watch how quick Gooden gets his body going toward first and unloads. It's one motion that takes the ball from the belt up to the shoulders and over to first.
Chipper waits. This time his back standing. 7:30 tomorrow night from Montreal, and Friday and Saturday, and 1:30 Sunday.
Watch where he puts his foot there on the rubber. See, he's got it almost dead in the middle. A lot of times you'll see a pitcher, right-hander, when he thinks he's got a chance, he'll slide back a little bit closer to first. Like, it wouldn't have surprised me right after that close play to see him move all the way to the corner of the rubber, which would have given him another foot or so closer. But Gooden, you can see where he pivots, almost dead center of the pitching rubber.
A little wet out there, isn't it?
A little bit of mud on the mound.
The 1-0 pitch. Downstairs, 2 balls, no strikes.
Chipper Jones was talking about, you were talking about the mud on the mound. Chipper Jones was talking about the wet area over around third base. He said for 2 straight nights it was damp over there, and you can see it just to the right of Wade Boggs, a lot of clay. And he said that ball he threw away the other day, he grabbed a handful of mud with it.
Little tapper fouled on the first base line.
So anything that short hops near the third baseman in an area over there about 10 feet across, maybe 20 feet deep. He's going to come up with a handful of goo. You can see it. The Boggs is right.
Why would they do that at third base? I've seen
know.
it happen a lot at first base. We used to do that to the Cardinals when they had Coleman and those guys.
It may be just that some areas hold the moisture better. It could just settle that way. This field is crowned so that it slopes toward the left field line.
There's a rifle shot into right. That's going to get to the wall, but Tucker will not be able to score. Chipper's going to try for second. They got a shot at him there. He is out. And the inning is over. It's a single, but he's out trying to stretch it. 9-6, and the inning comes to a close. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. Another base running mistake. Bottom of the 5th, 1-0 Atlanta.
Well, another good ball game, a 1-0 contest. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Joe Simpson and Pete Van Wieren with you. Cecil Fielder set the lead off for the Yankees, and he takes high, ball 1. Greg Maddux has faced the minimum number of hitters through 4 innings, but he has allowed a couple of hits. Both were erased. Fielder grounded to short his first time up.
I thought Joe Torre had the right words to describe this series the way it's been played so far. He said the intensity of it is well beyond what you normally get in regular season games. Every one of these games, every pitch is huge.
2-1 to Fielder. Yeah, there's a lot of concentration, a lot of focus.
Well, 1 run means so much in this series. We've only had 6 runs scored the entire series.
Two and 2. We talked about this a little bit last night, Pete, about how amazing it is, even after a big slugfest weekend the Yankees had with the Indians, how the Braves pitching staff dictates.
They really do.
A series, no matter who they're playing. Grounded to second. Lemke's got it. Easy play, 1 out.
You know, we've obviously seen it in this series where the Yankees were red hot offensively coming in, but even when you talk about a team like the Colorado Rockies at Coors Field, a couple of times the Braves have gone in there and Tom Glavine has pitched shutouts at Coors Field, which no one does. So the pitching of this Atlanta Braves team, the starting pitching, is what dictates usually the way a series is going to go. We don't have a lot of high-scoring games involving Atlanta.
And the Yankees pitchers have been equal to the task. Tino Martinez stands in and takes outside. He struck out his first time up. Hitters have gone up there a little more aggressive the last time through the order after John Hirschbeck made it clear that he was going to be giving a wide berth to pitches in the early going. Martinez didn't like the call he was rung up on. Good swing, fouled back, 2-1. Take a look at the pitches he struck out on first time up.
Knee high, belt high, and then Perez moves inside. That ball comes back borderline on the edge of the corner, but got the call.
2-1 pitch, bounce to McGriff. Maddux right there, 2 down. Well, there's been some good defense. We talk about the pitchers and what a good job they've done, but some outstanding defense turned in by both sides too, not the least of which that outstanding double play turned by Blauser and Lemke.
Excellent defense. Have you ever seen so many runners picked off
No.
base in a series? Both sides.
Wade Boggs made a terrific play on a line drive hit right at him, more in self-defense than anything else, on a line drive hit by Andrew Jones. A low strike call. The 1 fly ball out was by Pat Kelly in the 3rd. Boggs tries to fight off a fastball inside, but Chipper's got it. That'll do it. An easy inning for Greg Maddux. The Yankees go in order. We've played 5 and the Braves still lead 1-0.
As we go to the 6th inning, time for today's Budweiser game summary. We've got another dandy pitching battle with Greg Maddux and Dwight Gooden locked up in this one. Chipper Jones has driven in the game's only run, 1-0, as we head to the 6th.
We always talk about Ed Mangan and his ground crew and how outstanding they are in Atlanta. Ground crew here in New York, somewhat entertaining as they're dragging the infield at the end of 5 innings. They play the music to Village People's YMCA, and right in the middle of dragging the infield, the ground crew breaks into it.
It's a tradition here at Yankee Stadium the last few years. Fans love it.
Pretty good stuff. Fred McGriff leads off for the Braves and takes low. Fred has struck out and bounced into a fielder's choice. Sends a fly ball to fairly deep left field, but Mark Whitten has a beat on this one and makes the catch. 1 out in the 6th. Gooden steadily building up his innings since coming back from that hernia surgery. 5 innings at Florida, 6 innings at Cleveland, 7 innings in his last start here against Cleveland. He beat them 3-2 and gave up only 1 run. Brian Klesko, the hitter. Brian hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, singled in the 4th.
This game probably means a little more to Dwight Gooden than an ordinary middle of the season game, since he didn't get a chance to pitch in last year's World Series.
I would think so.
Taken off the roster for the World Series a year ago, although he was in the dugout every day.
Was not at his best at the end of last season, but certainly pitching well right now. Out of play. Mel Stottlemyre said that his velocity is still not yet where it was when he came out of spring training, but that it's getting better each start. Todd Stottlemyre's dad. The 1-2 pitch. Deep to right. This might have a chance. It's got a definite chance. Look out, upper deck. 2-0 Atlanta. Pete, it looked like he didn't even get extended on that ball. It looked like he fought it off a little bit and still hit it in the upper deck.
Well, if you ever come to Yankee Stadium, one of the things you always want to see is a home run hit like Babe Ruth used to hit them here in the house that Ruth built, and this was one of those. Ryan Klesko did not get the best swing in the world at this one.
Why don't you pull his hands in?
But he got it up in the air. Look at that. Look at how tightly his hands were to his body. He got the pitch up and in, got the fat part of the bat on it, though, and drives it about 2 rows into the upper deck. His 14th homer of the year, 2-0.
That was an amazing show of strength. Andrew Jones takes the strike. He is struck out and lined out to Boggs. You don't often get a souvenir in the upper deck. Some fans did today. One ball, 2 strikes to Andrew, and the parade begins. The 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2. By the way, it's a national holiday today in Curacao. And there's a radio broadcast from Yankee Stadium today, going back to Andrew's native country. We wish them well, send them our best on the holiday. Called strike 3. Andrew down on strikes for the 2nd time.
And again, part of John Hirschbeck's liberal strike zone. That pitch a little bit outside, but he's been calling that a strike all day long.
I'm not sure about that one, Pete. That baby was having a hard time even coming back. Boy. Go up there hacking, boys. Keith Lockhart takes the ball. He struck out his first time up and has popped to 3rd. Good, and lost his balance a little bit.
Brian still describing the fact that he did not get his best swing on that one, but still managed to find the upper deck here at Yankee Stadium.
Line to left field. Good piece of hitting by Lockhart. Base hit. You know what, Pete? If I hit one on the upper deck at Yankee Stadium, not playing here any more than Ryan gets to, I think I'd be doing some talking and walking too.
Got to be a thrill.
I hit one up there once. About 3:30 one afternoon off Bill Plummer in batting practice. Yeah, have I talked to you guys down here yet? Wonder how long Belliard will last. Michael Tucker certainly enjoyed watching it. Eddie Perez hits one right off the end of the bat into the Yankee dugout.
The measurement on the home run, it was not a tremendously long home run because it just barely made it into the upper deck, 380 feet. But the amazing part of that home run was the swing that he hit it on.
How about the home run Manny Ramirez hit in the upper deck in Houston last night, and they said it went 414 or something?
414 was all they said.
Gotta be kidding me. Eddie tries to tomahawk a high pitch, but hits it right back to Gooden, and the inning comes to an end. But the Braves add to their lead. They get a run on the home run by Klesko. They strand a runner. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-0 Atlanta. To the bottom of the 6th inning. Greg Maddux now with a 2-0 lead. He'll face the bottom third of the order. Mark Whitten leads off for New York. He singled his first time up, went to second on a ground ball, and then was picked off second. Hard hit to Lemke. Boots it. Recovers. Got him. 1 out in the 6th inning.
Well, he just came up empty when he tried to field it cleanly, but it didn't roll that far away from him. He was able to recover and throw out Whitten. And Greg Maddux has still faced the minimum here. Whitten picked off in the 3rd, and after the base hit by Girardi, the double play took care of him in the 4th inning.
Chad Curtis was the man who was at the plate when Whitten was running on a hit and run play. He bounced out to Lemke and takes a strike. Chipper Jones was telling me about that throw he made last night. I was kidding him about it. I said, well, when you make an error, boy, you make a good one, don't you? He was talking about how it bounced about 20 rows up into the seats on his overthrow of McGriff last night. He said, but I had more mud in my hand than I had baseball. He said, not an excuse, just that they really keep that area soaked over there by third base, and it's real sloppy. 0-2 or 1-2 make it to Curtis.
Well, you can see it from our vantage point. It's darker over there. You can tell that it's been watered down more over on the third base side.
Right in that area where he's standing.
Right in that area, yeah.
The 1-2 pitch struck him out. Greg Maddux records his 3rd strikeout. And he's run his innings pitched without a walk to 32 and only 54 pitches here in the 6th inning.
His last couple of games have been as impressive as we've seen since he's come over to Atlanta.
Another easy inning if he can throw out Kelly. He does. Doesn't get much easier than that. A grounder to second, a strikeout, a grounder to the pitcher. He is on a roll. We go to the 7th. 2-0 Atlanta. Braves lead 2-0 here in New York as we go to the 7th. Then the team takes off for Montreal. We'll have all the games for you leading right into the All-Star break. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night beginning at 7:30 Eastern time. Then a Sunday afternoon special from the Big O. And boy, look at these pitching matchups. The Expos have all of their good pitchers lined up for Atlanta, including that Saturday afternoon contest. Tom Glavine against Pedro Martinez. That will be a beauty. Nagel and Juden, they're just a combined 22-3 on the year.
And it's Mark Lemke leading off as we go to the 7th inning. Braves leading at 2-0. Lemke has grounded out twice today, once to first, once to short. Drives this one down the right field line. That's going to one-hop the wall out there. Lemke around first. He'll hold on. They've seen Paul O'Neill's arm once today. Did not want to test it again. Leadoff single for Lemke. Hit number 7 off of Dwight Gooden.
Got a low inside fastball and turned on it. His first hit of the series.
And now back to the top of the order, and Jeff Blauser, who has walked, doubled, and fly to center. Looks like the Yankee bullpen is going to get into action now. Left-hander Graham Lloyd will begin to loosen up. Again to first, again Lemke back. Blauser has not missed a beat since moving into the leadoff spot. Leads the club now in runs scored with 54. And that's somewhat remarkable when you consider how long he spent this year in the number 8 spot in the batting order.
Yeah, but it also backs up, I think, things we've been talking about with Jeff for the last several years, that he is a good guy to have any place in the order because he knows what's expected of him. He's willing to give himself up. If he's batting second, he's willing to move runners over. Leading off, he's willing to take a few pitches.
Again to first, again Lemke back.
His last 2 seasons have been miserable for him to endure, mostly because of injuries and also because of the scrutiny that he's come under from fans.
Well, Gooden very, very much concerned about Mark Lemke over at first base. Guess that one stolen base Mark had earlier in the year really stands out in Dwight's mind.
Well, I think Joe Torre also respects the fact that Jeff Blauser is a good hit and run man too, and he wants to make sure Lemke doesn't get a good jump if they change from bunting and go to hit and run.
Blauser squares and gets the bunt down right out in front. Girardi's going to try second, gets him down there. Good play, Joe Girardi. Lemke cut down 2-6, and maybe the couple of throws over to first base cut down Lemke's lead by just enough to get that out, Joe.
I think so, Pete. I think hit it right on the nose. Plus, it was not a real good bunt either. It was only about 2 feet out in front of home plate. Right in line for Girardi to come out from behind home plate and get him.
So it's Blauser now at first with 1 out for Michael Tucker. Hit into a force play in the first, walked in the third, again in the fifth. Well, we have seen some kind of pitching battles in this series, all 3 games. A 1-0 Yankee victory Monday night, a 3-1 Braves victory last night. Braves leading this one 2-0. 0-1 the count on Tucker.
Yeah, and it's not that neither one of these teams have been absent in terms of having guys on base. Tom Glavine worked out of the stretch all night Monday night. Denny Nagel was in the stretch a lot last night, but both sides have made good pitches when they've had to.
Blauser chased back. 2 runs, 7 hits for Atlanta. No runs, 2 hits for the Yankees. We're in the top half of the 7th.
He's got to be careful here with Michael Tucker. Michael's walked twice today, and he has seen a lot of pitches from Gooden and may be zeroing in.
1 ball, 1 strike. This will be the 100th pitch by my count for Dwight Gooden on the afternoon. And it's a strike, 1 and 2. Yankees have to be encouraged by the way he has pitched his last couple of starts, Joe. He's looking more like the old Dwight Gooden.
Yeah, I would think so. And if they can get the arm strength back to get that velocity a little bit better, as Mel Stottlemyre was talking about, I think they'll be in good shape.
1 and 2 on Tucker. Little dribbler foul down the first base side. It remains a ball and 2 strikes.
And Andy Pettitte has assured the Yankees that even though he got up yesterday and his leg was a little stiff after being hit by that line drive from Javi Lopez, as the day wore on, he started to feel better, and it looks like he will be able to pitch without missing a start.
Hit on the calf in his start against Atlanta Monday night. 1-2 pitch is popped foul left side up into the crowd. It'll stay a ball and 2 strikes on Michael Tucker. Yankees will also be heading north of the border after this game. They've got a 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays beginning tomorrow. And then Joe Torre and his crew, Bobby Cox and his crew, converge in Cleveland for the All-Star game next Tuesday. Again the first. Again Blauser gets back. Here's the 1-2 to Tucker. Strike 3 called outside corner, and Tucker didn't like that call. But it's a very wide strike zone for John Hirschbeck. You don't get many of the calls up above the belt, but inside outside quite wide.
Yeah, that was a little bit like the one that was called on Andrew Jones when he struck out in the 6th inning. It had some movement, but in Hirschbeck's defense, he's giving the same pitch to Greg Maddux. He has been consistent. You're right.
2 outs, runner at first. Rain beginning to fall here at Yankee Stadium as Chipper Jones steps in and takes ball 1 outside. There is rain and some heavy stuff scheduled to hit here sometime today or tonight. Hopefully this won't be it. Chipper today 2 out of 3, a pair of singles. He's driven in 1 run. 1 ball, 1 strike. With his 2 hits today, Chipper's average back up over 300, now hitting .303. And this one popped up. Derek Jeter drifting back. Stays with it, makes the catch. And that's all for Atlanta in the 7th inning stretch time here at Yankee Stadium, with the Braves leading it 2-0. Just a very light mist here at Yankee Stadium. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Greg Maddux in the first 6 innings has faced the minimum 18 hitters, given up 2 hits. They've both been erased, one on a pickoff, one on a double play, and Derek Jeter takes a strike. He has struck out and rounded out to 3rd. He's been a red-hot hitter. 5 for 11 still in the series, and 12 hits in his last 25 at bats. Another strike in the outside corner, 0-2.
That ball had barely settled into Jeter's glove when Chipper popped up to end this inning, and Maddux was already on his way to the mound. He was out there already warming up with Eddie Perez, and no one else is even in position.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball. He hasn't thrown many of those today. How about that pitch? 4th strikeout for Greg Maddux.
Jeter certainly wasn't ready for that one. Caused him to lock his front leg. He got out there, kind of stiffened up a little bit, and then had to reach for the ball.
1 gone in the 7th. 4th strikeout of the day for Maddux. And here's Joe Girardi. He has grounded out to 2nd and singled. Out of play, right side.
Girardi has taken an inside-out approach to his former teammate. He used to catch Greg. Grounded to 2nd and had a base hit to right.
Here's the 0-1. At the knees, 0-2. Looks like Girardi's got something in his eye. And rain looks a lot harder on your picture than it actually is raining here. It's really just kind of a mist. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 5 for Greg Maddux. He's making the pitches. He's getting the calls. 2 down, bottom of the 7th.
Did Girardi drop his bat on this one? That was a pretty good pitch. Very good.
That'll bring up Paul O'Neill. He is 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out to second, hit into a 6-4-3 double play. And he takes a strike.
Do we have a pitch count with respect to strikes on Maddux today?
I can give it to you in a second. There's a ground ball slowly hit out towards second. Comes right up to Mark Lemke. And a very easy inning for Greg Maddux. 1, 2, 3 go the Yankees. Still 2-0 going to the 8th.
Time to take a look at the Delta scoreboard. A limited number of games here this afternoon. Cincinnati, though, leading Milwaukee in the bottom of the 7th. Detroit has another home run, this one from Damian Easley, and they are close to sweeping the Mets. They lead 5-2. Kansas City and the Cubs are underway. No score going to the bottom half of the 2nd. That's Apier against Foster. Everything else is tonight.
And with the light rain continuing here at Yankee Stadium, we head to the 8th inning. Yankees have brought out a new pitcher, left-hander Graeme Lloyd, making his 23rd appearance of the season. Record of 1-1, ERA of 4.12. Lloyd worked an inning here last night. Set the Braves down 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts. And Fred McGriff will lead off here in the 8th.
And McGriff was one of those strikeouts.
Good outing for Dwight Gooden. He worked 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 runs is all. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. But leaves the game down 2-0.
That's a season high in strikeouts.
And it's 0-1 on Fred McGriff. One ball, 1 strike. Lloyd, the Australian native who got himself deep in the doghouse last year when he came over to the Yankees from Milwaukee. Regular season in 13 games, he had an ERA of over 17. But that changed come postseason. He did not give up a run. He only gave up 1 hit in 5 1/3 innings over a 8-game stretch against Texas, Baltimore, and Atlanta. Picked up a win along the way. Here's the 1-2. Down and strikes McGriff. And you can see the hitters, especially when they get 2 strikes on them, maybe swinging at some pitches they might not.
Yeah, they are, and you rarely see Fred chase a breaking ball like that far out of the strike zone. Ryan Klesko, the batter, he has been instrumental in the last 2 ball games. Last night got the Braves on the board with a 2-run homer off of Ramiro Mendoza, a line shot just over the wall, and then today launched one in the upper deck.
Lloyd on to first, gets Klesko, 2 down. Two out quickly here in the 8th inning, and that'll bring up Andrew Jones, who has struck out twice and lined to third. The home run today by Ryan Klesko worth another look. Kind of a funny looking swing, but look at the result. Upper deck.
That little Babe Ruth look to that swing too. The way he was rocked back and had his hands up high by his head.
If Ryan had shortened his stride a little bit, circling the bases,
we could just get him to tiptoe.
Yeah, tiptoe a little bit more.
Doff his hat to the crowd as he's rounding third.
2 down, bases empty for Andrew. Joe Girardi out to the mound. Rain is just about stopped now. The fans returning to the box seats here at Yankee Stadium.
Yankees have Jeff Nelson warming up in their bullpen, a big right-handed reliever. I don't know if Girardi's just stalling for a little time for him or not.
That appears to be the case. Here comes Joe Torre. So you saw Mel Stottlemyre on the bullpen phone to see if Nelson was ready. So Lloyd did his job. He came in and got out the 2 left-handers, striking out Fred McGriff and getting Ryan Klesko on a comebacker. And now Jeff Nelson will make his way in from the Yankee bullpen. Joe Torre makes the Bell South call to the bullpen. The new pitcher for the Yankees, right-hander Jeff Nelson. He's making his 40th appearance of the year, 2-5 with an ERA of 3.16. Big hard thrower. He is 6'8", 235 pounds, originally in the Seattle organization. And just to show you that first impressions may not be the correct ones, you look at the way his career started out. He had no record his rookie year in 1984, splitting that between Great Falls and Bradenton. In 1985, he went 0-5 with an ERA of close to 6. That was at Bradenton. In 1986, he went 0-7 with an ERA close to 7 at Bakersfield. So his first 3 years in professional ball, he was 0-12. Then he improved to 3-7 in 1987 at the Class A level, and gradually worked his way up to the major leagues, where he's now become a very important part of the Yankee bullpen, but not one of those impressive starts to a career.
Pretty good deal for the Yankees that they made with Seattle back in '95. They got Nelson, Tino Martinez, and Jim Messier, who we saw last night, in exchange for Russ Davis and Sterling Hitchcock.
Yeah, that's a very good trade right now for New York. Well, here comes Andrew 0 for 3 to face the big right-hander Jeff Nelson. 2-0 Atlanta, top half of the 8th inning.
Nelson tough on right-handers, sidearm delivery, throws hard, has a good slider.
And his first pitch to Andrew, not a very good-looking swing at that one. 0-1 the count.
It's a sweeping breaking ball that he throws right at the hitters, causes them to open up a little bit. They either give up on it or start their swing so early they can't stop.
Here's the 0-1. Same pitch, same spot, taken for a strike this time. 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 on the way, and that's all for Andrew Jones. Nelson comes in and disposes of Andrew on 3 pitches. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Braves still lead it 2-0. Well, Braves pitching in this series has somewhat silenced the Yankee faithful. 2-0 Atlanta. We go to the 8th. Danny Bautista takes over in left field. Bottom half of the 8th inning begins with a strike to Cecil Fielder. He has grounded out twice, once to short, once to second. And that's a strike in the outside corner. 0-2.
Wow. Cecil a little suspect on that pitch with respect to the call from Hirschbeck.
How about that for a pitch count? 66 pitches were in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 call. Fielder caught looking and is not happy. Strikeout number 6 for Maddox.
Well, if there was a hot stove somewhere for the players to go sit around tonight, you'd see Cecil Fielder and Fred McGriff and Andrew Jones and Derek Jeter and Joe Girardi all sitting around talking about, man, oh man, how are we supposed to hit those pitches today?
Maddox's last start against the Philadelphia Phillies in that complete game 7-1 victory, he threw only 89 pitches. So his last 2 outings, he has been about as good as you can get. Fouled off 0-1 by Tino Martinez.
I'm sorry, he's only thrown over 90 pitches 3 times this year in starts, and this is his 18th start of the year.
Martinez with a strikeout and a ground out to first. The only two base runners, Mark Whitten, who singled in the third, then was picked off second. And Joe Girardi, who was singled in the fourth, then was erased in a double play.
I remember him falling behind Paul O'Neill 2-0 in the first inning. Went to a 3-ball count on him before retiring him. But it would be hard for me to remember anybody else that he has started without a strike.
It is 2-1 now on Tino Martinez. Well, since that 3-2 count to Paul O'Neill in the first inning, he's only gone to a 2-ball count on Joe Girardi in the fourth, Cecil Fielder in the fifth, Tino Martinez in the fifth, and now Tino Martinez here in the eighth. Andrew Jones makes the grab. Deepest part of the ballpark. You've really got to launch one to hit one out there.
No man's land.
Makes you appreciate that third home run Reggie Jackson hit against the Dodgers in that game, which landed on the hitter's backdrop out there in center field.
Saw Jay Buhner hit one out there from the Mariners one time too.
2 gone. That'll bring up Wade Boggs, who has grounded out to short and popped to third. He almost always takes a strike.
And after that, Maddox has tried to pitch him inside. Let's see if they do it again.
Here's the 0-1. Jammed him. He pops it up. Shallow right field. Lemke going back. Tucker coming on. Tucker calls him off. Makes the catch. Another very easy inning. 73 pitches is all it's taken Greg Maddux to shut down the Yankees through 8.
Before we get to the ninth, a reminder that tonight on TBS, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze star in Point Break, part of Wednesday's summer blockbusters. That's coming up tonight, beginning at 8:05 here on the Superstation. His name is Keanu Reeves.
Well, Greg Maddux has been masterful here this afternoon. 73 pitches in 8 innings. He has faced the minimum. Braves leading at 2-0 going to the 9th. And leading it off for the Braves will be Keith Lockhart. Eddie Perez will follow, and then Mark Lemke.
His last 2 games have been vintage, haven't they?
They really have. Lockhart 1 for 3, a single his last time up.
You were telling me something over on radio, having talked to a couple of the players last night about this crowd, Pete, that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, we ran into quite a few of the players after the game last night. Mark Lemke, Tom Glavine, Ryan Klesko, and to a man, everybody on this ball club loves playing in this ballpark because of the energy of the crowd. These are tough fans, but they're very fair. They get on you when you're not going so good, but they give you 110% support when you are going good. Crowd today of 36,606.
And many of them know every single detail about your professional baseball career.
Yes, they do. But the Braves players saying, even though you're a visiting team in here and you have to take a little abuse at times, it's a very energizing place to play. That, along with, of course, the great tradition of this stadium. Here's the 0-2 to Lockhart. Toward third. Nice play again by Wade Boggs. He's made a couple of beauties today, and the good defense continues on both sides. 1 down.
You always hear about Wade Boggs' bat and the fact that he's 40th in Major League history in hits. Sometimes he doesn't get enough credit for his good glove work. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves, and that was a nice play right there.
Now Eddie Perez is 0 for 3. He has struck out, popped to short, bounced back to the pitcher. Ball 1. Due up in the bottom of the 9th for the Yankees, Mark Whitten, Chad Curtis, Pat Kelly. Back out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Were there 2 outs in the 9th when Rico Brogna hit that double to drive in a run in his last start?
We can look that up for you.
Talking about Maddox, of course.
Yes, there were. Little chopper foul off the bat of Eddie Perez. Count a ball and 2 strikes. Still one inning to go. We have no idea what the final outcome of this one will be, but it has to be a little bit of an extra insult to the Yankees today, because remember how close they came to signing Greg Maddux when he originally signed with Atlanta. They thought they had him locked up. They offered more money than the Braves offered. But Greg opted to join the likes of Tom Glavine and John Smoltz and Steve Avery at the time. And the Braves are glad he did.
Yes, sir.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Perez. Popped up foul, first base side. Martinez may have a play. Over near the railing, reaching in. Did he hang on or not? No, he didn't. He came out of there with the ball, but didn't fool Ted Hendry.
No, and he was playing it pretty honestly, too. If he had come out of there and held the ball up suddenly, Ted Hendry may have called an out. But rather than do that, Tino just picked the ball up and handed it to a fan because he knew that the ball had dropped and assumed Ted had seen the same thing.
Still a ball and 2 strikes on Perez. Nelson strikes him out. Second strikeout for Nelson. That is strikeout number 9 today for Yankees pitching. And it'll bring up Mark Lemke, who's 1 for 3. Singled his last time up.
Funny thing about Maddux yesterday, he was talking to David Cone about the DH, and he said to David Cone, he says, you know, it's not bad. You just kind of sit here and watch the game. He said, you don't have to worry about getting your helmet.
Lemke hits one high in the air to left. Mark Whitten drifting back. He'll have a play out there. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Nelson. Nelson retires all 4 hitters he faces. And look at Greg Maddux already on his way to the mound before the Yankees even clear the field. Well, we're already in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Greg Maddux trying for his 2nd shutout of the year, his 23rd shutout of his career. He's only thrown 73 pitches, and he has faced the minimum. The only 2 hits off him, a single by Mark Whitten, who leads off here, and a single by Joe Girardi, and both were erased. Whitten picked off, Girardi taken out of there in double play. Mark Wohler's up just in case. Nothing in 1 on Mark Whitten.
And he's retired the last 13 in a row.
Last man to reach, Joe Girardi, with his single back in the 4th inning. And no walks again today. Nothing in 2 on Whitten.
He's never thrown a no-hitter, but he has thrown a 1-hit shutout. That came against Houston in '95. And the 1 hit he gave up was a home run to Jeff Bagwell. That was the only hard hit ball that day.
Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 call. Inside corner. That one came back. Whitten shaking his head, but Maddux records his 7th strikeout. 1 gone, bottom of the 9th inning, and Chad Curtis will be the hitter. Watch the movement here.
That was the thing Jeff Blauser talked about in that game against Philadelphia, Pete. He said after the first batter, when Otero got a double, he said from that point on, Greg's pitches had as much movement on them as he had seen when he was in his prime, when he was really rolling a couple of years ago in Cy Young years. He said a great thing to see.
Curtis is grounded out to 2nd and struck out. Ball 1. Little tap over the mound. That's going to get through. Base hit center field. So after a string of 14 consecutive hitters had been retired, Chad Curtis reaches with a 1-out single. And look who's coming out of the New York Yankee dugout. Just reactivated before today's game. Bernie Williams will bat for Pat Kelly.
Charlie Hayes had a bat, and had Chad Curtis not reached, Charlie Hayes was going to hit, but with a tying run coming to the plate, Joe Torre called back Hayes, and it's going to be Bernie Williams.
Williams hitting .317 for the year, 10 homers, 50 RBIs, a hamstring injury, and put him on the sidelines for a couple of weeks. And he's up there now with a runner at first and one man out, and just his appearance has re-energized this Yankee Stadium crowd.
Swinging is not the problem. Running is the problem. Their only concern was having to let it all out. A sudden burst of speed that might re-injure the leg won't bother him swinging.
One man out, Curtis at first. Fouls away the first pitch, 0-1. Many of these fans at the ballpark today may not have been aware that Bernie Williams had been activated. The announcement of his rejoining the active roster came just about an hour before game time. Scott Pose, who was on the active roster, has been sent down to Columbus to make room for Williams. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. This guy's such a talented hitter from either side of the plate, hitting .307 right-handed this year, .321 left-handed. He has 6 home runs right-handed, 4 left-handed.
Line drive hitter with power.
Last year, .305, 29 homers, 102 RBIs. The 1-1. Pop foul out of play, left side, 1-2. Then he was the MVP of the League Championship Series. Didn't have that good a World Series against the Braves. He was only 4 for 24, but one of those hits a big one.
Yeah, it was in Atlanta in Game 3. A 3-run shot that iced a win for them. Maddox has been willing to go inside on the left-handed hitters when he gets ahead in the count. But with Williams being the tying run and with his power, I wonder if Greg will still be willing to try to bust him inside.
1-2, 2-0 Atlanta, bottom of the 9th. 1 man out. Here's the 1-2. Out of play again. Still 1-2.
It got him kind of reaching, kind of hanging out over the plate, guarding the plate. That was a changeup away, and he got a piece of it. The strikeout of Whitten to start this inning was a good fastball that was a little bit in off the plate, and Hirschbeck gave him the call. If he comes in on Williams here, you can bet he will try to make sure it's off the plate.
Again, the 1-2 pitch. Missed outside, 2-2.
Tried to throw a fastball, hoping, or he did throw a fastball, hoping Williams would chase it upstairs, and he didn't. Williams really trying to throw him off. They did this beginning about an inning ago where they were trying to step out, trying to disrupt his rhythm a little bit. Williams has done it 3 times this at bat.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Strike 3 called. And Bernie Williams arguing with Hirschbeck.
There's the pitch. Came inside, had enough movement on it. Bernie Williams has been watching what's going on today and reacts on a pitch that Greg Maddux got the benefit of the doubt on. Oh no, that ball had plenty of the plate.
Yes, it did.
That was an outstanding pitch that had plenty of the plate.
2 men out, runner at first. And the last hope for the Yankees is Derek Jeter, who has struck out twice and grounded out to third. 8 strikeouts today for Greg Maddux. It's high 9 against the Cardinals back on May 16th this year. Upstairs, ball 1.
Derek Jeter has good power to right field, and the short porch certainly inviting for him, so you can't just keep working him away. They'll try to keep him honest.
There goes Curtis. Little bouncing ball out towards second. Lemke's got it on to first. And Greg Maddux has shut out the New York Yankees. Braves take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, and they hold this very good offensive Yankee team to just 2 runs in the 3 games.
Our AutoZone player of the game, as you might suspect, is Greg Maddux. Took him only 2 hours and 8 minutes to dispose of the Yankees. Gave up only 3 hits, one of those in the 9th, to break up a string of 14 in a row that he had set down, and he recorded 8 strikeouts. Good movement on his fastball all day long. Fielder, Martinez, even his former catcher Joe Girardi suffered today. And Maddux, his last 2 starts, only 1 run allowed in 18 innings. He is on quite a roll. The Braves take 2 out of 3 from the Yanks, head to Montreal now. And Pete and I will be back to wrap things up from Yankee Stadium right after this.
Superstation is brought to you by Aflac, helping to fill the gaps left by your regular insurance. Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. By the 62,000 professionals at Delta Airlines, who proudly put you on top of the world. And by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Another brilliant pitching performance by Greg Maddux, and obviously we'd like to talk to him after the game about this shutout. But Greg has a very strict post-game routine that includes immediate icing on his arm, and we certainly honor that. But we will try to talk to him tomorrow from Montreal, so make your plans to be with us. Don will be visiting with him in some pregame comments, and we'll look forward to visiting with Greg at that time. Your totals: 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 7 men left on for the Braves. The Yankees only left 1 runner on base, and that was in the 9th inning. Maddux improves to 11-3. Gooden suffers his first loss of the year. And 36,606 here at the ballpark. Maddux had to work 89 pitches in his game against the Phillies. Only 86 pitches today. No walks. He has not walked a batter in his last 5 starts. That covers 36 innings. And like the start against the Phillies, Pete, 2 hours and 8 minutes. Same time for both games.
And a remarkable pitching performance by the entire Braves staff in this series, holding the Yankees to just 2 runs in 3 games, taking 2 out of 3 from the defending world champions. Well, we continue this road trip in Montreal tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern time. It'll be John Smoltz against Jim Bollinger, and we'll hope you'll join us for that one. Don't forget tonight, coming up on the Superstation, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze star in Point Break. That all begins at 8:05 Eastern time. Until tomorrow, for Joe Simpson, Don Sutton, Skip Carey, and our entire TBS crew, Pete Van Wern from Yankee Stadium, where the Braves made it 2 out of 3 over the Bronx Bombers, 2-0 Atlanta, the final today. So long, everyone.